Hi everyone, so welcome to today's Meet the Candidate session. I'm Lauren, the current SU Vice President, and today I have Emily with me, who's running to be the 2021 to 22 Vice President. So I'm going to be asking Emily some questions that you've sent in to us and some that we've put together as well based on her manifesto. So first of all, we'll start off with 2 minutes for Emily to introduce herself and let us know why students should vote for you. So take it away, Emily.
Hello, so I am currently in my final year doing an animal behaviour module. I've always been interested in the Vice President role, as I think I've got many ideas that I could bring into the role and make the Student Union a better place for the students, as well as the engagement that they've had with the academics. I'm really friendly, I'm outgoing, I talk a lot. So I enjoy the chat and discussion about different things that I could maybe bring to the role. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
good. We like to have a drink and have a social, but at the same time, I can be serious within the role and would take the role extremely seriously to benefit everyone, as whether it be students or staff.
That's great, thank you. So we'll move on to the questions then. So the first question that we have for you is, what are your main motivations for running for Vice President?
So like I said, I've always been interested in the role. I've always wanted to improve the student engagement between the Student Union and the students. I feel like I could bring a lot to the role. I've got plenty of ideas and they just keep coming. And I think I can increase the amount of ideas I had across the year. I want to improve the student uni life, so increase that enjoyment that people have, but obviously along the same time have the seriousness of doing the academics, but have the relaxed side of the socials and the activities that people might want to get involved in. I do want to make a difference to the students and really represent the students and create the experience that they want and maybe need. And I just want to make Harper sort of the place that people want to come and want to be and be involved in.
That's great, thank you. So you've mentioned in your manifesto that you want to further expand on the academic representation work that's kind of been put in place this year. So how do you intend to achieve this?
So I want to really represent the students and ensure that representation and support is a key role within the academic support. I want to be able to try and increase their working abilities, so support any maybe like learning difficulties they may have and try and encourage this across all courses that may not have thought of different ways of teaching. I'd always want to ensure that I could attend course meetings, or whether there was someone on the Student Union that was able to go to a course meeting, so that all courses have been represented correctly and we've got a full discussion on what to bring towards the courses, so we can discuss it further as a team.
Great. So like a good relationship with course representatives is really important in this role. So how would you go about fostering a good relationship with the course representatives across the university?
So I'd want to have regular meetings, maybe have a group chat or some sort of email chat that we could discuss all the points together. And whether this be regular meetings if we're allowed to with COVID, or if it was on Teams or like with a group chat, so that we could discuss the priorities that may have been raised and also discuss things that other courses might not have discussed. But also frequently ask questions to the courses on their opinion of the course, or whether they've got anything they may want to increase academic wise, or just encourage people to talk about any ideas they might have.
Good. And how would you improve and empower the student voice on campus?
So I think a great thing that the uni has is obviously the use of social media. So I'd want to use a lot more polls on Facebook and Instagram, because I feel like it gives students the chance to vote on things that they might prefer. I'd want to have like a session sort of dedicated to listening to the views of the students, whether this be, again, a Teams meeting, or whether we had like an open door policy, where I think that's a very important thing as vice president, to have this open door policy so people feel comfortable discussing their ideas. But I also think a suggestion box outside the student union office would be a really good idea, just so if people maybe have an idea that they might not want to fully discuss and keep anonymous, it's something we could look at having where it's in a quieter space of the uni, so people don't feel pressured to put ideas in, but also something that could be more anonymous, but also ensure that we represent the students and keep that discussion constant.
That's great. It's a really good idea. So you mentioned that you want to increase inter-club and society activities. Can you give us some examples of your plans for this?
I'd want to really, again, get involved with the social media side of it and promote everything on social media. I think some of the inter-club things that we've done previously, so the rugby sevens, has always been such a positive thing that the uni do. And everyone gets involved, has a laugh, has a couple of drinks. It's like a really nice environment to be involved in. So actually increasing maybe the rugby matches, or having clubs where they switch. So say hockey go to a rugby social, and rugby go to hockey. So you just learn a new skill or a thing that you haven't maybe learned before or even thought about, but it also increases that engagement and diversity across the different societies that might not have met before.
Yeah, great. So your manifesto doesn't include anything about managing a students' union during a global pandemic. So obviously, considering the current situation, and if things don't go back to normal by September, how do you plan to achieve your aims?
I'd want to increase the digital communications that we had. So constantly upload social media and keep emails flowing so that students feel connected consistently. I'd want to keep the students informed on maybe the COVID, how it's forming, whether cases are decreasing and how it's going with vaccinations, but also whether it looks as though we may be able to have a more normal end of the year. But I'd also encourage a lot of clubs to do online socials, because I feel like that's kind of been lost across this year, which is a shame, really, where people haven't really done any Teams meetings and clubs haven't really got as involved. We've still stuck to our friendship groups, whereas with the clubs, we'd meet new people and have fun alongside doing our uni work. So I'd really try and encourage that, but also the use of like online activities, and even like with the Freshers Week, I'd want to increase how much we did things online, just to get people doing something a bit different rather than just doing their uni work and sitting with their flatmates.
Yeah, and how do you view the relationship between the students' union and the university?
I think this year it's definitely increased with the fact that we've got the academic side being represented now. I do think that it's good that the student unions obviously linking in with the academics, because we can have that both sides of the university life. I want to ensure that we carry on with this better communication and ensure that people feel that we're communicating effectively with them, but also ensure that we represent the students as best as we can, because it's the most important thing of the role, I think.
Definitely. So what would you do to address the division in students' views seen this year?
So I'd want to use social media positively to encourage different thoughts and opinions, but obviously wouldn't want to cause any problems. So I'd look closely into things before I uploaded them, maybe. I'd want to, if COVID allowed, engage with that inter-Harper relations and activities thing, because I think that's a really important way of being able to get different diversity and community to meet in situations that aren't pressured and that people can enjoy rather than have the pressure of other thoughts and opinions, but also just to encourage the support and views of everyone across the university.
Good. And in your manifesto, you mentioned bringing back true blue spirit. So what does this look like to you?
I think True Blue Spirit is a proper sort of family sort of unit. So in my first year of Harper, I know that it was so tight-knit and everyone got on with everyone. It was a really close community. Whereas over the past couple of years and with COVID, I think everyone's sort of diversified and sort of just stuck with the same sort of groups. So I just want to try and bring back that close-knit community and encourage everyone that everyone's opinions are allowed, and that we can look at bringing back that work hard, play hard quote that we had, and just encourage that sort of positive university spirit that we had in my first year.
Good. And how would you work collaboratively with the president and the wider SU team to achieve your aims and the organisation's strategic plan?
So I'd want to look at developing strategies early. So before we came back to uni, I'd want to make sure that we had sort of plans in place for what we wanted to do. I'd ensure that we communicated effectively with any ideas we had, whether it be from the vice pres, the president, or the smaller sort of roles within the student union. But I'd also want to hold regular team meetings and discussions, just so that we're constantly keeping on top of new things that we might have recognised or new ideas that might have come about, and even that student engagement, just to bring the student union up to speed with what might be happening.
Good. You've mentioned in your manifesto as well, value for money. So how would you do this without reducing the quality of events and services provided?
So I'd always want to ensure that we had the top quality events and services, and I'd never want that to lack. But obviously, the reflection of the value for money, I'd want to look into maybe ways that we could improve events or even services, but maybe look at different ways of purchasing things, whether there's any deals that are coming in. Maybe look at different companies that we may be purchasing things from that we could then use to our benefit to encourage people to get involved with more events and activities. So I'd want to look at a purchasing framework and review the best deals that we could get and see whether this could be brought then into the events and clubs and socials that we held.
And final question, what do you hope to achieve in your first 100 days in office?
So I obviously want to get to know the team and make a big thing of ensuring I knew who I was working with, and that we all got on really well, and that we had a positive framework of working. With obviously the COVID-19 happening at the moment, it be whether we needed to maybe phase things back slowly or whether we could go straight back into it. So that would need to be a discussion that we'd have a bit closer to the time. If COVID is over, I definitely want to ensure that freshers had a brilliant freshers, and that we were able to have like a more back to reality sort of clubs, societies, activities and events that people that haven't had that this year can really get involved with in the next year, and just ensure that I am engaged from day one and that I will remain engaged with all the students and their opinions throughout my time if I was vice president.
That's great, thanks. So that's all the questions that we've got for you. So do you have anything that you want to add, anything that you want to sort of say to the students, why they should vote for you, anything like that?
I just want to ensure that I'm going to do my utmost best to support the students and the student union to the best of my ability. I will have a laugh. I'm happy to have a drink and get involved in all clubs, societies, activities and events. But again, I can be serious and I will take the job seriously. But I want to encourage that positive view at Harper and bring back that true blue spirit and carry it on.
That's great, thank you. So good luck on the rest of your campaign, and I'm sure that you're happy to take any questions if anyone wants to contact you on your campaign.
Absolutely.
And as always, if anyone wants to contact the Students' Union, then feel free to pop a question our way as well.
Thank you.